You must make pressure your privilege by Strangest Loop, and it is a list of things that are not doing the thing. So here is a list of things that are not doing the thing. Preparing to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Scheduling time to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Making a to-do list for the thing isn't doing the thing. Telling people you're going to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Messaging friends who may or may not be doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Writing a banger tweet about how you're going to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on yourself for not doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on other people who have done the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on the obstacles in the way of you doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Fantasizing about all of the adoration you'll receive once you do the thing isn't doing the thing. Reading about how to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Reading about how other people did the thing isn't doing the thing. Reading this essay isn't doing the thing. The only thing that is doing the thing is doing the thing. What would have had to have happened in a week for you to look back on that week with pride? Maybe stop breaking promises to yourself. When you say, I'm going to wake up tomorrow at 7 a.m. and when the option comes to hit the snooze button, don't do it. There's one win that you've got for the day. That's action. If you had a friend and every single time that you and your friend decided that you were going to go out for dinner, that friend either showed up 2 hours late or didn't show up at all, you would stop trusting that person. That is the relationship that you have with yourself.
I want to maximize what I can. I want to be the best that I can be. I want to do things well, and I don't want to leave stuff on the table, but I don't want to be chasing the end goal so much that I never actually enjoyed the process of getting there, because ultimately that's really all that matters. You're going to look back at any destination and realize that it was 99.9% journey and only, one day of celebrating achieving the thing. The few things that I know that you can do, one of the most practical ways to do it is to put post-it notes around the house. And when you see the post-it notes, write on it whatever you want. Just take 30 seconds to find a way to be thankful or grateful for something that's happening right now. A positive place that you draw mental strength from when life is difficult has to be, I just want to be better and I'm trying my best.
Act first.
Okay.
You have to lead with action, because if you are someone that deals with a crippling sense of insufficiency, your ability to discount any good thoughts you have in your mind is going to be so strong. If you try and lead with positivity first, I need to think it, wish it, believe it, and I will achieve it, your set point of negativity is going to just crush that into the ground. I'm speaking from personal experience, right? As the guy that was chronically unconfident and still has, the imposter syndrome that does creep in. You have to start with action. It needs to be, okay, what would have had to have happened in a week's time for me to look back on that week and find pride in myself? Pride's seen as something that you should be ashamed of. It's one of the 7 deadly sins. But David Goggins, I did an episode with him a couple of months ago. We can put it in the show notes if people are interested. And he said pride is something that everybody misses. That having pride in your name, your performance, the way that you show up for other people is something that you can do. But you need to do something that is worthy of being prideful about, right? What would have had to have happened in a week for you to look back on that week with pride? Okay, maybe stop breaking promises to yourself. When you say, I'm going to wake up tomorrow at 7 a.m. and when the option comes to hit the snooze button, don't do it. There's one win that you've got for the day. That's action, right? And it is just, it's tried to say the Peterson clean your room thing, but the reason that works is that you start with the smallest ever step and you expand out from there. You want to become a writer. You want to leave your job and become a writer. Okay, can you commit to writing 1 blog post on Substack per week for the next 3 weeks? That would make you feel like less of a loser if you did that. Action has to come first if you're the sort of person who is chronically unconfident, because you will drag your sense of identity behind you. Mark Manson says that identity lags behind our status by about 1 to 2 years. So for both me and you, in 2 years' time, we'll go, I understand why I was in LA that day, and look back. Start with action and make small promises to yourself that you don't break. If you had a friend and every single time that you and your friend decided that you were going to go out for dinner, that friend either showed up 2 hours late or didn't show up at all, you would stop trusting that person. That is the relationship that you have with yourself. You need to be able to trust your own word. And a lot of us don't, because life is very convenient and It is easy for people to not stick to the promises that they set themselves because our ability to be idealistic is always going to outstrip reality's ability to deliver that to us. As soon as you posit an ideal, you then begin to compare yourself to that ideal. And true hell is when the person that you are meets the person that you could have been.
That's all that there is. You want to be better. That is something to be proud of. You want to leave it all on the field of play. You want to make yourself as good as you can. You want to make the world a better place. You want to have an impact. All of these things are just all positives. Paying attention has been the single greatest competitive advantage that I've had because I pay attention to things and I try to be precise and I care. But also, the more that you're able to let go and not fear about stuff, the more enjoyable you'll find it. So the thing that is making you better is the thing which is making you feel pain. And this is a perennial balance. I don't think I've ever personally actually been disparaging of someone that has a 9-to-5 because I have been someone that's had a 9-to-5, albeit not for long. I did it for 6 months. But every single person that I knew growing up had a 9-to-5 or bigger, and my dad certainly did. And then coming from a super working class background, I've always felt a little bit uncomfortable with the way that 9-to-5s are disparaged. I don't think that the only way that you can enjoy your life is if you pivot and do something yourself. I think it's a very reliable route to do it, and I encourage as many people to do it as possible, but I try not to look down on people that are doing that because it's the lion's share of most people. How to get past it if your purpose is aligned within a 9-to-5 career? It doesn't matter.
I fell in love with an essay from Jason Pargin where he said, accept that all of your heroes are full of shit. Your heroes aren't gods. They're just regular people who got good at one thing by sacrificing literally everything else.
And I love this insight that you can dress it up however you want. The work just needs doing. And you can fluff it and you can change it and you can talk about compounding. But ultimately it comes down to sitting at the desk and answering the email, opening the Word document, recording the podcast. And one of the things that I've found is a really great hack for me, I would have no success as a YouTuber that I've had being a podcaster because I work well when I have someone else in front of me. Like, I would clean my room at home if mum came and sat and like just watch or talk to me, right? Because I just didn't want to fucking do something that sucked on my own. Being a YouTuber and staring down the lens, hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to fucking do whatever we're going to do. I really, really struggle with that.
Roll the clock forward now. So talking about the price that people pay to be the person that you admire. Everyone would look at Tiger Woods narrowly bound, like, I want to be as good of a golfer as Tiger Woods. And you go, yeah, okay, but do you want the childhood? Do you want to spend nearly half a decade out of the sport with injury because of how hard you've pushed yourself? Do you want to struggle with self-worth to the point where you basically can't have a long-term marriage? Do you want to be chased down this driveway with your wife in a golf club? He fell asleep at the wheel. He broke both of his legs not long ago. He's been on antipsychotics. Like, that is the price that you pay to have that degree of greatness. It's a onesie, right? It's not an outfit that you can pick little different bits about. You don't get to choose one element of someone and say, I want that. It's like, no. All of these externalities, all of the things that you really don't want, they came along for the ride as well. So this guy loves playing pickleball, and he gets to turn up on a Saturday and play with his friends. And, you know, if it's cold outside, he doesn't need to go and play. And if he's tired, he doesn't need to go and play. And if he's hungover, he doesn't need to go and play. And then he decides to turn pro. And he thinks, I'm turning pro at this thing that I love. I can't wait to make what I love into my career. But he doesn't realize that, hey, guess what? If you're hungover, you still need to go and train. Well, actually, no, you don't get to be hungover anymore, because the guy that isn't hungover is the guy that's training better. So you now need to stop going out with your friends, and you need to train when it's cold, and you need to work on game tape and mindset and hydration and nutrition. You need to do S&C, and you need to have a physio, and you need to not see your family as much. All of these things came along for the ride as soon as you decided to turn pro. Is that a price that you're prepared to pay? And that's an interesting question to ask yourself. Am I prepared to sacrifice my pure, unencumbered, unmolested love for this thing in order to try and become the best at this thing? Like, I've made huge developments while I was staying up until 4 a.m, 5 a.m, running a nightlife business. You can make huge developments in your personal growth journey while you're doing a 9-to-5. And if your purpose is aligned within a 9-to-5 career, it doesn't matter. Like, that's your thing. Just lean into it,
enjoy that. And all of the guys that don't know when they're supposed to start or when they're supposed to stop, or they've got to be the taskmaster, or they don't know what they're supposed to do today, and they don't get holidays, and they don't get all of that, you don't have to worry about any of that. There are tons of advantages of having a 9 to 5. And if you're enjoying it and your purpose is aligned with it, nail the self-development on an evening time, make sure that you lock into a hard routine, and you're going to have a great time. So I'm genuinely envious of people that have great 9 to 5s where their purpose is aligned to it, especially if they've got a lot of oversight and structure, because it takes all of the pain. I did a video ages ago. You might even be able to find it. I can't remember what it was called. Something like 10 reasons to not start your own business, or something like that. And it was about precisely this, that it's not all it's cracked up to be, to go and work for yourself. So the disparaging of 9 to 5s, I'm not on board with that. Is it possible to be world-class whilst having fun? That's the question for me this year. It may be that in order to be world-class, fun has to go out the window. And if that's the case, it'll make me sad, but it's whatever, like that's a price that you perhaps need to pay. But I'm really trying to do this. So what brings me joy? Hanging out with my friends, being outdoors, doing new things, visiting new places, going for good food, especially in different, like adventure and novelty for me are very invigorating. It's also a great way to make time slow down. When people say, I can't believe how quickly this year's gone, what they mean is, I don't remember the days that have gone so far in this year. One of the best ways that you can slow this down is to add more memory units, and memory units are highly derived from how much novelty there's been. If you drive the same route to work every day for 3 years, that's basically 1,000 journeys that's condensed down into one memory, unless there's one day in particular where it was rainy and you skidded, or you were involved in a car crash, or someone gave you a phone call and told you that you got a raise or whatever. Like, you'll remember those. But because it's always the same thing, it just gets condensed down into essentially one memory. So trying to vary and add as much novelty in as possible is very good. As the world has become so comfortable, we're having to go out of our way to actively seek discomfort. We inject it into our lives. We artificially inseminate it. People, every time that you achieve something, what you're doing is positing a new minimum bar which you have to get over, right? Fantastic. I've just done this many plays, or made this piece of art that's sold for a particular amount of money, or whatever. How exciting. And almost immediately there is this sort of like post-coital realization that, oh my God, that's the new bar for my best performance. That's really high. That means I now need to be even better at my next thing. And someone recently won the largest lottery in history, a $1 billion lottery. Someone just won that. From a life trajectory perspective, that's potentially one of the most disastrous things that you could have happen to you. Because how are you ever going to have a better day than the day you woke up and found out that you'd won $1 billion? The argument is slow success strategy would be to purposefully try and drag out the wins that you have.
Habits are hard to break, man. And the habit of not doing things is unbelievably difficult to get past. It's one of the problems with anyone that listens to your show or my show. You will love being cerebral, right? You will love the idea that I can use cognitive horsepower to just get myself out of problems. And there is a case of learning as masturbation, right? And believing that learning about something is the same as enacting it, and it's not. That's why it has to be action first. A quote from one of my friends that he uses when he's thinking about a concept is, does this grow corn? Basically, is it useful? Tell me how I can use this in my life. Does it grow fucking corn, right? It's this beautiful sounding concept, cognitive bias that helps me understand the way that my brain works and my relationship with everybody else. How do I use that in my life? Give me something to apply it to. And that's why with the confidence thing, choose promises that you will never break to yourself. I'm going to get up on time for the next month. I'm not going to hit the snooze button. If you do that and you look back in a month and you go, oh my God, like that's the first time I've done that in forever, maybe. That's a big win. And you can do the James Clear thing. We'll write it on a board. We'll track it, what gets like measured, etc., etc. But the main thing is just keep promises to yourself. And that is a good way to go from, here is an insight I learned about, I want to do breathwork, cold plunge, go to the gym, fast until 12 midday, get up on time, sunlight in the eyes in the morning, whatever it is, right, that you want to do. Turn it into a promise. Don't break the promise.
You're going to lose sleep. You'll doubt whether it'll work. You'll stress to make ends meet. You won't finish your to-do list. You'll wonder whether you made the right call and have no way to know for years. This is what hard feels like, and that's okay. Everything worth doing is hard, and the more worth doing it is, the harder it is. The greater the payoff, the greater the hardship. If it's hard, good. It means no one else will do it. More for you.
Right. And it's not just me that's got better. The world is undeniably a better place because of the sort of person that I've become. I'm a better friend. I'm a better son. I'm a better boss. I'm a better partner. I've had the fortune of reaching tens of millions of people on this podcast, and I've given TEDx talks, and I've improved the texture of my own daily existence because of the process that your work triggered. You do not know the depth of impact that your work has had. And if the option had been there, I, and probably a lot of other people, would have happily taken on our share of your suffering over the last year if it would have somehow helped as a thank you for how you've helped us. So, thank you.